This is a Headgum podcast.
Where do you sit? Wherever you don't sit. Oh, I'll be chair. I like chairs. Oh.
Oh.
Your shirt?
Oh, yes. That is a memory. I did not bring either of your shirts.
I knew you wouldn't.
Yeah, sorry.
You're not that kind of person.
I should remember.
You're not thoughtful or
I'm
considerate.
just a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's from the... Was
Yeah,
that the last show?
That was the last show.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For us.
Do I want to sink? Do I want to sink in?
Boise, which I liked. What was your least favorite city on the tour?
Least favorite city? You want to save this? Are we already recording?
Already recording.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Should I? Yeah, I'm gonna throw. Will you put that over there, or should I toss it?
Well, it's a throw pillow, so...
Yes, I should throw it. All right, I'm gonna throw it.
Careful,
Here we go.
Careful! Jesus!
There it is. Party time, baby. This podcast kicks off right.
So just as a way of introduction of you to the folks at home or in their car or
On their
abroad.
Walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only places you're allowed to listen to this. Sean
I wish.
was the best opener I've ever had on the last tour that just wrapped up a couple months ago. The Worst Daddy in the World tour. You now have approximately 100,000 new fans, hardcore fans.
200. It's in the 250,000.
Yeah,
Around that. Yeah. Just some people who weren't even
even
the
there.
Show just heard about it.
Yeah,
just
wanted
to be a part.
Friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Except for that one lady, but
well, that and her daughters.
And her daughters.
Yeah.
But who brings A, their mom to a comedy show, or B, their kids to a comedy show? Well, we learned the answer to that, didn't we?
We learned. I mean, I think these days people, I guess they think comedy brings people together, but my comedy's all about dividing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And conquering?
Just
dividing? Just
dividing.
Okay.
Let them conquer themselves.
Yeah.
You know? No, I think it's people who want to. I wonder. You either have a great relationship with your parents or your children, or a terrible relationship with your parents or your children if you're bringing them to comedy.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think.
What do you think the mindset is of somebody who has a terrible relationship?
Like either A, I want them to not, I know they're not going to like this, and I want to make them uncomfortable, or...
You mean our shows specifically?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or the opposite. Or we just can't find common ground. Maybe David and Sean will bring us together.
Sure.
So I think some people are bringing their family to our shows as like a hit job to destroy the relationship forever.
Right. Just the final, just burn it down.
Yeah. Others are like, maybe they will be the thing that we later hug. Like I might hug my dad for the first time after a show.
Yeah, and look, we saw a lot of. I was surprised by it, but a lot of parents bringing their kids, ranging from 14 to 19. Tons of kids were there.
Kids.
That were literally kids of the parents that brought them. But you think that there's some parents that might have gone, "Fuck this kid! I'm going to drag him to the show and get him out of my life once and for all."
Or just like let them watch this and just decide they don't vibe with me as a parent, and the split begins.
Yeah,
you know, and they'll move. They'll be out of here in a year.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would love if we had confirmation of that. If there was just one dad who was like, "I fucking hate my son, and I know he's going to disagree with everything these two guys say, so let's just do it.
Yeah,
let's just end this."
Either way, we get the
ticket money.
The gate receipt.
Yeah, there you go. Right. But I do think that's an interesting point, because every kid that I saw or that I heard you talking to or that I talked to a little bit, because for the people listening, we would meet people after the show, and we'd hang out,
and we'd greet them,
as well.
Well, what one might call a meet and a greet,
right,
a meeting and a greeting,
which I think it should be a greet and meet, because you greet first,
Right.
You don't meet like, hi, oh, I'm David. Oh, I'm Paul. And then afterwards, with, how are you?
Wait, was Paul there?
Paul was at 2 shows. Paul came to 3 shows.
Great. Awesome. Oh, wow. The same ones.
Same Paul.
Oh, same. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Great.
I'm talking about one Paul. You might be talking about a different Paul.
Well, I was spelling it like a Paul.
Oh man, that guy. That I don't.
Yeah, because he changed the spelling of his name, and I don't care for that.
I
It
wasn't.
seems a little bit pretentious.
I like just. You remember when he was going by he was going by Paul, but it was spelled Pole,
mm-hmm.
and the E was silent, but he never said the E was silent.
Right.
What a fucking asshole!
But he had it written on a card, and then when you said it, he would shake his head, give you the card with a fucking disdain, and then walk away. And then you'd read the card, which was in Braille, so you had to go learn Braille. Then later on, go, oh, he's saying it's Paul, but it's spelled Pole, but the E is silent,
and also,
in Braille,
right? And also,
go ahead.
Well, can we talk about this fucking appropriation, blind appropriation?
Yeah.
How is that not a thing?
Yeah, I think
how's that not a thing?
It's one of those things where I think people who know deaf people and learn sign language, the people got jealous of that and thought that's a bit much, that's a bit rich.
Yeah.
And people were learning sign language, and so there were people that said, F this, if kids are listening, and F stands for fuck, then I'm going to learn Braille and show those deafies a thing or two.
Right. And that's just, from what and look, I don't want to be the whistleblower here.
I don't want you to be.
But I feel like there's a giant 500-pound whistle just right here in my lap, and I got no choice.
Is that a euphemism or?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's right there. Right. Got to blow it. And which sometimes
see what happens.
It's right there.
Would you like somebody to wet your whistle?
My whistle is dripping wet, brother.
Okay.
But I've heard that when like artists, musicians, etc., even comedians, even some of our peers, they'll have a sign language interpreter on stage.
Sure. Yeah.
From what I understand, if you are not deaf, they're actually just doing the N-word over and over again.
Oh.
Right?
If they learn that there are no deaf people in the audience.
Right. If they're
just doing it for themselves.
For themselves.
So it's like them swearing.
Exactly.
At just angry at the world.
Over and over again because they're mad. They're like, what? This is.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
You know that in the Bigger and Blacker tour, I had. Do you know Mort Burke at all? Actor, improv guy.
Mort.
Oh, Mort Burke.
Mort Burke. No.
Yeah. Really funny guy, cool guy. And he went on the tour. He did 2 things. He was like a plant in the audience both times. But in the beginning, and he was there at the front of the stage before the show even started. And I think there was Todd Glass was opening. And I would have Mort sign. And, he'd be at the downstage in the front section downstage with a soft light on him, and he'd be signing. And I can't remember how the bit went, but after like 5 minutes, I was looking at, we had picked a place where I'm looking at him because he made a weird, something that we had figured out beforehand, some weird movement that was like, I don't know what it was, but Rain would be like this or something. I don't know what it was. And then I would look over and I said the word again, and he's staring straight ahead.
Right.
And I said the word again, and I said it again. The audience was at this point, figuring out, oh, he's fucking with the sign language guy. And then I can't remember how the bit went, but then I confront him.
Yeah.
And then he admits that he doesn't know sign language. And and then had somebody who was deaf and upset. I don't know. I can't remember how the bit went. So I'm sorry for bringing it up.
That's crazy because I remember how the bit went.
Did you see that tour?
No, but I just but collective consciousness.
Okay,
I'm able to
Mandela effect.
It's when when you tour with someone for a while, our memories become shared.
Yeah,
and I remember that. Yeah, he didn't know how the bit went, and then Todd playing the security guard.
Oh yeah.
Also opened.
Yes,
Which
Todd Open.
let's just give credit where credit's due. That's how good of an actor Todd Glass is.
Yeah.
He can play one character, but a lot.
Yeah, and
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, whether he
Same
was a security guard,
Yep.
teacher, dad, pope. It was all the
Exactly.
same delivery.
Especially the Pope.
Yeah, especially
He
the pope.
kills it as a Pope.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's so good you forget that you just saw it on stage.
And he has his musical cues for the pope as well.
That's, oh God. I mean, I get emotional when we bring that up because it's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Todd got mad, goes to throw him out, and he's doing this. He's like, come with me. He's making a gesture like, you come with me, not realizing that he's actually signing, I love you. Right. And that gets someone else, and someone who's actually deaf in the audience. The other person who didn't get offended, they got emotional.
And then,
yeah, the moment was shared.
And I was sued countless times.
So, yeah, that was part of their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Was like, let's sue the guy who brought us together.
Yeah.
Did you get any lawsuits from this tour yet?
Not yet, but I'm glad you used the word yet.
Yeah.
So it's not too late. I think there's I don't know what the statute of limitations is on it, but
on suing
for a disappointing show, or being offended.
I do really wish, this is something I'd love to do, is start a fake law firm that sends out emails to everyone who went on the tour. It's like, if you were offended by David or Sean,
and a billboard, like a billboard that says like, we've won over $29 million for our clients suing David Cross and Sean Patton.
$2,900. But I would just love to be like, email us with the exact bit that offended you. I would just love to read those. Would I love to read? I say now I would love to, and then I read 5 of them. Now I'm just like, oh, I'm such a monster. And then I really say
don't. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
I would never think that. I know it.
Hey, where'd you get the glass? I didn't see any glasses. Are there glasses now?
I know people here at Headgum.
Oh, jeez.
I got to hook up that Headgum.
I'm not complaining about, but the mug seems a little precious. Yeah, it's a mug of water. But has anybody gone, hey, does anybody have a mug of water?
You ever, the time.
Hi, Sean.
Hello.
Would you like a mug of water?
Sure. Can I also have a glass? Can I have a champagne flute of coffee then? I like how they give you mugs of water when you do late night. Wait, I want to answer a question. This is so typical David. He asked me a question. 45 minutes later, we get to the answer. Because rambling. We're ramblers.
What was the question?
You said, what was your least favorite show of the tour?
Oh, I said City.
No,
which is different.
I have a 3-way tie for least favorite show.
Okay.
But none of them, but all of the cities I love.
Okay, can I guess?
Yes.
New Orleans.
Yes.
Yep. Great city.
My home city, but show is weird.
Show is weird. And every time I go there, shows are weird.
I was just back there for a little bit. Shows were interesting. Wait, by the way, really quickly, since last I saw you, I have a partially torn Achilles tendon.
Oh shit! What happened?
I was on the fully loaded Bert Kreischer cruise and karaoke.
Now I don't know that that's ever been said before.
Yeah.
The answer to why do you have a partially torn Achilles is karaoke.
Yeah.
So what was it?
An Incubus song. I was committing. I was the last night they had a karaoke closeout party every night, and they encouraged us to do it. That we weren't forced by any means. And Bert would stand at this and watch all the karaoke, and people were jazzed because he was up there. That poor guy, man, I love that dude, but he puts himself out. He's 18 hours a day going full throttle. It's insane. I was doing karaoke, and last night, I think I was the last person on stage, and I was like, let's go off menu here. Find me an Incubus song. And they did. And I was like, let's do it.
Which Incubus song?
Anomaly or Animali. It's
clever. It's very clever.
Very clever.
Yeah.
So clever that right before the bridge, I felt a pop. I was like, ooh, that.
But what were you doing? What?
Just committing, just jumping around like a lunatic.
Just like thrashing around.
Doing my best Brendan Boyd impersonation. And I felt it, and then limped off stage. And then the next week it was just searing pain.
Right.
And then I saw a doctor, and he was like, yeah, if you, it's not ruptured, because if it was ruptured, you wouldn't have finished the song or even considered singing, and I fucking finished that fucking song. But now
does Incubus know?
I'd like them to know. I think they're probably listeners of this podcast.
Okay. Well, somebody.
So just so they know,
Emma,
no lawsuits.
Emma, Google Incubus. How to let them know something. Sean Patton's Achilles /
partially torn.
Hang on.
Okay, just saying.
Sean, Jesus.
I don't want to get the wrong. She's doing a lot of googling.
Well, now I gotta start over.
Okay.
Emma, Google Incubus. How to tell them during
karaoke. Remember,
Sean?
Sorry, I'm just.
Jesus
I just don't want her to Google the wrong thing.
I'm gonna ask you to leave while I do this. Okay. What do you mean? I'm giving her the information. Why would that be wrong?
I'm just making sure. It's just me being a good opener.
All right. Emma, Google Lincoln Park and see if they know Incubus.
Okay.
Sean?
I'm sorry.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I've been doing this. Emma, Google yourself. Image search. Make sure it's you. Then Google Lincoln Park to see if they know Incubus and how to get in touch with them, or Fallout Boy regarding Rolling Stone's top 500 songs, best songs list.
It was from their third album, by the way. Okay, I'm just okay. We're good.
Right. No, I was done.
Okay, I'm just making sure I wasn't. Jumping on you.
Third album.
Okay, wait. What was the other two cities? Do you think?
Okay, so New Orleans, and I'm going to guess. There's one towards the end that was really flat. Well, let me throw Philly out.
Yeah.
Philly was
spot on. Yeah.
Again, love the city.
Philly's a fun city, but that show was
not good.
Well, it was on Cinco de Mayo. If you remember,
I don't.
It was on Cinco de Mayo.
Well, we had the same thing with New Orleans, where half the audience was fucking in the bag by the time we started the show. They were in April, visibly, markedly drunk.
It was also a sunny.
The other one.
What?
Columbia. No, not Columbia.
No. Columbia is tied. Columbia was going to be my the only venue that was one of my least favorite shows and least favorite city. Sorry, Columbia, South Carolina.
No, it's not very good.
Just didn't have a good time.
It's not a great.
Weird time. That was one of those That was one of those towns where they have and that's the queer bar. Yeah. And that's the bar where the not white people go to.
Yeah.
Wait, the only thing that was not the only thing. The best part about Columbia. Okay, Columbia was a 3-pronged attack. It was
the venue was not right for
worst venue.
Yeah, it was
weird, just bad show. Not my favorite town, but one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah,
remember that shellfish
we
place?
went in the back of the bar.
Yeah.
And they had really, really, really good steamers and oysters, and it was a bar. It was like a bar, and it was very good. That
place, but no, my third. You want to guess the third, or you want me to just tell you?
Well, it
was later.
It was a city you did. What was the question about a city?
It was a city I liked, but I didn't like. City I really liked, but did not like the show.
Oh, right, because you didn't like Columbia. Right,
I didn't like Columbia.
Okay,
city.
So I mean, those were easy. Philly and New Orleans. So, gosh. Well, we loved Manchester, England, but the venue was terrible.
Yes.
So it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my God. In the States? Was it in the States?
I'm just throwing this out there. I completely forgot about the UK shows. Wow. Those were all fun except Manchester. But
that was because of the venue.
That was because of the venue. But
sometimes you go, you walk away, and I think I'm pretty honest and fair. And I'll go, well, that, if the show's a little off, you go, that was me, or that was the audience, or that was the venue. And with Manchester, it was just the venue. That was and the promoter knew it immediately.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we started talking, he was like, "This is a terrible place for comedy."
That was that, but that was also, if that one was the one, because believe me, I've got the tour divided into upwards of 52 different categories.
Okay.
And that was one show that was the only show that was love the city, hated the venue, love the bar we went to afterwards.
Oh yeah, Miss Jackson's.
Yeah, they took us to an American bar.
An American bar. It was silly.
What does that mean? It means the shitty bar. It means just a shitty dive bar.
Yeah.
You're like, that's the American style bar.
They were so proud too, because we had to meander through
oh yeah,
we walked. I don't know where the fuck we were going, but
we walked past pubs. We walked past old Mancusian style restaurants. They said no, the American bar, and it was just a shithole that served shots.
Yeah. And
it was fun.
They were nice. They were very nice folks, and they gave me a T-shirt, which I proudly have.
Oh yeah. You want a hint?
Give me the region.
Midwest.
I
know that's a region.
Cincinnati? No, that was a good show. Was it?
That was not a good show.
It was not a good show.
The Taft, do you remember? That was a weird,
Oh, what was that one?
That was just a vacuous, Cincinnati is such a fucking cool city. I really do think it flies under the radar, but the venue was just this big, it was just this, it had no personality, the Taft. It was just big.
I don't remember.
And it was an audience that was like, God damn it. Like, they just wouldn't, it felt like the whole time they were like, it felt like performing in Amsterdam.
Oh,
Are you guys hearing any of this?
Well,
and then afterwards they were like excitable, but then that sucks though when it's like
it's such a weird Amsterdam and Scandinavia. We talked about this, how you're doing the show and you're like, I'm bombing. This is not this is not going good. And then you say goodnight and they give you a fucking standing ovation for 10 minutes.
Throwing panties.
And they're like, what the fuck? Why
like
did
roses?
You laugh?
You're like, where did roses come from? But yeah, like that was unfortunate because it was such a I love Cincinnati so much, but it was like, God, that show, because that was also
was that the one with when we went to the bar after, the crazy girl who kept mentioning her black boyfriend over and over and over and over and over and over again?
No, that wow, nice pull. That was Sacramento.
That was a great show.
That was a great show.
They were all. All
the shows were awesome.
All the shows were great, except for there was a handful out of 76 shows. There were
well, I only did 69 shows with you. Yeah, total so far.
We'll cut that out.
But yeah, so.
Brother. This episode is brought to you by the good folks at Betterhelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/senses and get on your way to being your best self. A common misconception about relationships is that they have to be easy to be right. But sometimes the best ones happen when both people put in the work to make them great. Therapy can be a place to work through the challenges you face in all of your relationships, whether with friends, work, your significant other, or anyone, even yourself. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma, in other words. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit betterhelp.com/senses today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/senses.
69 shows. That's all I did, though.
Nice.
Wait, I honestly, nice. And you don't have to answer this. I need to know.
I prefer bottom.
Okay, but I also, so you're the 6?
Sure.
Okay, good to know.
It depends on.
I mean, I'm coming to your Christmas party. I have to know these things.
Okay. Sure.
I have to get a gift.
Yeah.
But secondly, did Zach upstage me? God damn it, he did.
No. Zach. Here's the thing. Zach, he did not do poorly. He did not do. He's just a different
he's completely
energy.
Yeah, he's like a.
But he couldn't do Jack Tucker. He couldn't do the character.
Oh, he couldn't.
No, because that requires he would have to bring in these
Oh
guys.
yeah, apples.
And
Like so many props.
But the musical cues and all that stuff.
True.
And the tech stuff. So he it just wasn't the same thing. And but he's such a sweetheart. And,
I love that dude. Yeah.
And but it's just not. He's you were the perfect comic and energy and all that stuff. And
were those last 3 shows, where did they rank? Because I missed in order, I believe, Phoenix,
right,
San Luis Obispo.
Canceled that one.
Oh, fuck. What were the other 2?
Santa Fe,
New Mexico,
Tucson, I think.
Yeah, I missed all those.
They were good. The Santa Fe was great. That was the last show.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. And what was the first one? Phoenix?
No, we did Phoenix.
We did Phoenix. Phoenix was good. The Van Buren.
That was actually my
great. That was
least favorite city.
Yes.
Great show.
Fantastic show. Phoenix is. I
still have the socks.
I still have the socks too.
They gave us socks, but that show was great.
The show was great, and the city is just a mystery to me. I don't know why people move to Phoenix. I don't get it at all.
Oh, I mean, look, dude. Some people like flat, hot, and racist. Some people want that. I like my women like I like my cities. Flat, hot, and racist. You fill in the blanks. But
I don't have to. You already did it for me. No blanks.
No blanks at all, man. That's how I like my penis ejaculating.
Man,
no blanks.
Phoenix is just I don't get it. I don't get it.
Also, that just reminded me, but I was almost forgotten that I do have a 4th least favorite show, favorite city. However, it was immediately, this will be your hint, it was then immediately redeemed later. Because we did it a second time.
Oh, Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. First show was just unbelievably terrible, like heartbreaking, like fucked me up for like a day or 2. Because it was early on the tour.
You were so jazzed, so psyched about doing it, talking it up. It's going to be great.
Denver, you're going to love it. They're so cool.
And I played Denver plenty of times and loved it. And, Comedy Works is probably one of the best comedy clubs in the country.
Great club.
But that was, the first show was not great. And then the second show was amazing.
Second show was awesome.
Yeah.
Then we went
same venue.
That was also really interesting to do that, which I've never even heard of anyone doing. Like, we did it in March and then again in May.
Yeah.
Same venue, just 2 months apart.
Yeah, it was good.
It was, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like, because if we'd have done those nights back to back, part of me thinks the pain of the first show would have bled into the second one. And I think
you were more upset than
probably me. Yeah. I think I was very
so excited and you kind of took it personally.
Whereas instead, if you remember, we had a day off in Denver and we were like, what we should do is drink until both of us lose consciousness.
And we did.
And we did that.
Yeah, we had a day off, which is rare. We didn't have that many days off.
Maybe
we had a day
4
off
day offs total.
We had a day off in London. We had a day off in Dublin.
Yeah.
We had a day off in
Denver,
and then in New York. We had we just had 2 shows back to back.
That's and also day
didn't have
count.
A day off.
But then day off in the place where we both live. Does that count?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
listen, we just defined what day off means.
Off in Chicago.
We did have a day off in Chicago.
Yeah.
But you didn't hang. You didn't want to hang.
Because
I'm doing my own thing.
Because I had a tape, or
you were like, I don't want to get wasted the night before I shoot my special. I was like, what a pussy.
Yeah.
What an asshole. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
That didn't prevent me from.
Which, by the way, congrats. That fucker's already out, dude.
Yeah.
That special came out quick. On Veeps.
On Veeps. Yeah. You can,
Veeps.
For the next little bit on Veeps, you can check out the special. Sean opens it up.
Yeah.
Although I did superimpose. It's so cheap to do and easy. I did like a deep fake, so it's Post Malone's face
On me?
on you,
Sweet.
and then and it's just sounds like, and then fart noises.
So it's my that's
It's
really
it's your body, your movement, your cadence,
Wow.
your delivery, and it's Post Malone's face, but it's not any words. It's just fart noises.
But are the fart noises in my like style?
Yeah, I've been recording you.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that would
It's your farting.
it's actual farts.
It's your farts. Yeah.
And you just superimpose those. Oh man, that's kind of genius.
Yeah.
Can we do that from
It comes out of Post Malone's mouth, not his.
Wow. So people are immediately into it.
Yeah.
Seems like anything that comes out, that guy could seem
Well, you also,
anything.
yeah, people at home watching, but you also see the audience because you did you killed it, both of those shows. So you see them laughing, but when you see what they're laughing at, it's Post Malone's farting out of his mouth.
Which is probably funnier than most of my material. So like that's awesome.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you're smart to qualify it and say
Yeah.
most of the material because there is some stuff that's
There's a few.
funnier than Post Malone farting,
Gosh, man. I mean, mouth farting.
mouth farting.
Because actually, let's be specific about that because it's not Post Malone's face just going.
No, it's not making
It's
a
like
fart noise.
He's opening his mouth and actual from
your
the butt
fart
farts.
that I recorded. Yes.
I think this is art. I think that's, you put the art in fart, which was something.
Well,
Someone once said
you
about
have
me.
to if you're going to spell the whole word.
Yeah.
You don't have much of a choice.
I want to put.
I mean, I think everybody puts the art in fart. I mean, if you're going to spell it correctly. If not, then you're not. I don't understand your point.
Well, not Paul. Remember, for the longest time, he was also trying to do the same thing with just words. So if someone farted, he'd be like,
He was such a huge
He did
fan
it
of
with a
Gallagher's
PH.
"Words Are Weird" bit.
"Yeah,
Words are weird. Words are weird.
we shouldn't use them. We shouldn't use them at all, man." Wait, what? I want to get back to this. My top 3 across the board: shows, cities, and hangs.
That all in one.
All
they
in one.
They have to be the.
That-
Oh
yeah.
God.
I got my 3 already just in the bucket. Slam dunk.
I don't. I mean, I'm gonna go hang first. We had a lot of good. Geez. Not Des Moines. Iowa City.
Oh, Iowa City early on, freezing cold.
Yeah,
Ate
but that was.
steamed
I guess that wasn't
cheeseburgers.
a great city, but it was a good hang and a good show.
That was a good hang. That was a good show. I like Iowa City more than say Columbia, as far as college
Yes.
towns are concerned.
Yeah.
And yeah, steamed cheeseburgers.
Not Bloom. Was Bloomington?
Bloomington was excellent. Bloomington
Is that what you're thinking of?
Bloomington was
No.
one of the top 3 for me, as far as hang.
Oh, so I got one right.
as far as hang, show, and city. I love Bloomington as a city.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got one.
But
I got one.
go.
This is out of all of them.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Missoula.
Oh, Missoula was great.
I fell in
Yeah.
love with that city,
Missoula was great.
that town,
Great.
and it was a great show and
Yeah.
a great hang. And they have great, legit dive bars that aren't too shitty or scary or uncomfortable.
Where did we even fucking go? I didn't even see I do remember we went somewhere, but it was yes,
I think we went
Missoula.
to a couple places. Missoula, I love Missoula. That was great.
Missoula was up there. Yeah, Missoula. The show might have been one of the best shows, arguably one of the best.
And
Yeah,
after both shows in Missoula and Bozeman, I've never had anybody say this to me before, and they said it after both of those shows. They would say, "Thank you for coming to Montana."
Right.
Not thank you for coming to the city or the town,
Right.
but the state. I've never had anybody say, "Thank you for coming to Rhode Island. Thank you for coming to Oregon." It was the only place where people said, "Thank you for coming to Montana."
It was man. Those shows were so good I kind of forgot about them. That's a weird thing I'm starting to notice.
Well,
If
that's just
If
dementia.
something's great, it just I just forget about it entirely.
Yeah.
And only focus on the bad shit. But yes, those were that Missoula was great. even the last night, in fact,
Boise was
Boise was up there.
Yeah.
But you remember, Boise was not the first time, but that was the last night of the tour for me.
Right.
And the hang was good, but it was one of
That's where you peed in the street. You're like, I gotta pee.
I did pee in the street.
You just peed.
Well, we went to like 3
just
bars.
like a true New Yorker. A true New Orleans.
It was a total like, sorry, man, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes. We went to like 3 bars that were too packed or closed.
Yeah.
And I was like, but the one we ended up at was great. I can't remember what it was called at all. But what I do remember was that was one of the handful of times that afterwards people were just too much at the bar.
Yeah.
Like
went downstairs. It was at like, whatever, 10th Street bar or whatever, and you go downstairs.
That's 100% what it was called. The 10th Street bar, I believe.
And
90%
nice bar, and but the people were too.
Well, it was one specific this is just funny. This one woman and her husband came over, and they were a lot, and they did all the things, and you gave them all you did the picture, you signed a thing, they asked their 5 questions about you answered, and then they offered a round, and we said no, and it was you, me, and the sound guy from 800 Pound Gorilla, and then they walked away, and then came back, and we're just now just being now we're like, oh well, we're friends now, and I feel like something happened where the guy figured it out, but his lady was just being very like up on the shit, and then her and I had to have the conversation where
that happens a lot.
Where I was like, look, it's not. You're kind of in. This is our last night on the tour.
Yeah, we're hanging. We're talking like, amongst ourselves.
You had your 8 minutes with him or longer, and then she got then she did the thing where she left and then came back and was like, "Hey, I just really want to apologize." And then her apology was to sit there and not stop talking for like 10 more minutes. It was like, oh my God.
Will you tell the Charleston story?
Oh, buddy. Oh, Charleston, South Kakalaki. Now, Charleston.
Great show, great city.
Great city.
Great barbecue.
Great barbecue. And I will give the hang I'll put the hang up there as great only because everything that surrounded it. So this was first tour manager, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
So early on, a guy who even in 30-degree weather still wore shorts.
Always.
Always. Ate a lot of cheese, like too much cheese.
He ate a lot of cheese? I don't
remember. He ate a lot of cheese, dude.
Wait, you mean like a brick of cheese?
He might as well have eaten a brick of cheese. That guy, every time we ate, he had cheese on everything. We went to Subway once because there was like nowhere else. We were on the road.
Yeah.
And they asked, and I usually don't eat cheese on sandwiches. And I was just like, because I don't want to die. And I was like, no, not that I will die if I eat cheese, but if I eat too much of it. You know what I'm saying?
I think that applies to just about everything.
When you're my age, you start to cut out.
Even if you have
things.
sea gel or whatever that shit is that people are eating
too much
now.
of it. Wait, really?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? The
sea gel?
It's like sea algae or something like that. It's like a goo. It's like a goo that people are getting, $20 an ounce for, and you mix it with your stuff, and it's got no.
You're supposed to live forever, kind of stuff.
Oh, it makes you invincible.
Well, it's funny.
Superpowers.
When you said sea gel, I immediately thought of for your hair. It's like a sea gel. It's algae and it sculpts and your hair.
Once people kind of wisen up to, it's going to be like have that wheatgrass thing where wheatgrass was everywhere, and then people went, "This is awful," and I don't feel any better. And then sea gel will have that, whatever it's called, sea algae gel. I don't know.
Well, you know what I've done.
It's goo. It's a goo that you can get in a jar, and it's supposed to make you invincible.
That's the next. If there ever is invincible goo in a jar, it should just be called goo in a jar, just to turn off the people. Like, hey, it's goo in a jar. Do you want it or not?
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's nothing more, nothing less.
That's not trendy enough, but it's like, but it actually saves lives. But actually, something I've done that I think is very trendy twice, and both times it's made me nauseous and almost pass out, is IV drips.
Yeah,
both times.
My wife is a big proponent of any of that nonsense. And
now I know
all
I'm
the
getting
stuff.
all for Christmas.
She loves that stuff, and I've done it twice, and I didn't have an adverse reaction, but both times I was like, I didn't feel any differently, and it was also after like, I don't know, 4 days of heavy drinking. So I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'll do this, and I got the hydrating pack with the booster of the vitamin B12, and then the thing that helps your Tums. It's a liquid Tums. It'll go in there as well.
Yeah,
It's got a nice minty. It'll make your veins taste minty. I don't know.
If a vampire gets you, gonna be delicious.
And no, it's like whatever it is, $100. I don't know. It's something ridiculous. And you go and you sit in a chair, and you sign 9 waivers, and then nothing.
Yeah, I didn't. The last time I did it was in like late 2020. I was at Chappelle's land in
Ohio.
Yellow Springs. Yeah, we went, and you'd have to go. You'd show up, and he had like his own little. Now this was early, not early COVID, but later COVID. But he had his own like testing site set up, and there was there was no vaccine yet. So you go, you get tested, which is a fucking weird 10 minutes or however long it was waiting, because you're like, man, if we're negative, we're just driving back to New York, huh?
Yeah,
that's gonna suck.
If you're positive.
Or positive, yes. Or negative. Or either way, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't like you anyway.
Oh, you mean your attitude?
Yeah, just get, right. Yeah, if you're negative, like, we don't need that shit in here. No, but,
Nice save.
Yeah, there you go. No, you just saved it.
Okay.
So you take that compliment.
I'll take it.
Roll it up, put it in your top pocket, buddy.
Like a blunt?
Damn right.
All right.
Smoke that when the cops are looking, because it's legal in New York.
Yes.
Anyway, so tested negative. And then we go into his little like man cave area, and everyone in there is just IV dripping. And it was like, oh, hey, everyone.
Wait, you mean he had that as like a treat, like craft service?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, 100%. Just like, hey, y'all want to do it?
Oh, and it was the same. What was it?
You got to choose between rejuvenation. There was like a rejuvenation. Then there was like a hydration, which is one I chose. So I was like, hydration.
That's the one I do.
Yeah, and then there was one more like for energy. And I'm like, I'm yoinked out of my skull right now. Just coffee and being in Ohio. Because Ohio is it's
very stimulating.
Well, it's stimulating in the wrong way, where you're like, we drove, because we were doing shows in Cincinnati in a parking lot, and then we did some shows in Dayton, and then we drove up to Yellow Springs, and you're driving past like Trump barns.
Yeah.
And
we saw plenty of those.
Yeah, we saw plenty of that shit. But when I say Trump barn, I mean a barn with a fucking mural of Donald Trump on the side of it. And like, yeah, all these like, and you're stimulated in this like, Jesus Christ, these fuckers get a lot of power in the voting world, this whole state. And then you get to Yellow Springs, and it's just like rainbow flags and chill, and everyone's a college professor, and it's nice. But everyone's sitting there just talking shit, being all animated, because it's a bunch of comedians and a couple rappers, and it's fun and all. But I'm like, oh man, my palms are sweaty, and
I'm spaghetti.
Yeah, and vomit on the sweater. It's coming, And yeah, I had that thing where you just everything starts doing that.
So what did you have in there?
Well,
what was your drip?
It was a hydration drip. That's all I remember. But I remember the nurse, she came and like, she's like, are you all right? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm about to faint, I think. I feel lightheaded and nauseous. She's like, okay. And she stopped the drip and pulled the thing out. And I remember that, putting the needle in, not that big of a deal. Something about it coming out, the feeling of it coming out, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to puke. And I didn't say that. I was just like, oh, okay. And she took all my vitals, and she's like, okay, yeah, you're good. And then she said it was like, it's fine. It's sometimes a reaction. I'm like, is it? Because this has happened to me before. I did it like a month or a couple years earlier in Vegas. Same exact reaction. But I was able to. And
you don't know what the thing was that was streaming through your.
Both times the nurse had no, I don't. I'm not sure. No, It might have been urine. It might have been bile. That's why I felt terrible both times. I might have got the practical joker nurse both times. I was like, this guy.
Funny.
Let's put some.
Have you seen it air anywhere? Like we tricked comedian Sean Patton.
Like the most deep cut. Here's someone who's only famous to 2 people, and one of them's him. We're going to get this son of a bitch with some IV pranks.
It's a whole subgenre, IV pranks.
IV pranks, man. That would actually, a whole show of just like medical pranks only.
Yeah.
That actually is pretty funny.
But for real. Like, and you'd have to do them in like Azerbaijan or something like that.
Oh,
and Kazakhstan or Turkmenistan.
Or like wake you up during surgery and like show you your insides. Like, it's gross, isn't it? You're fine. You're good.
God, there was something I'll never forget. I can't remember what the show was, or some reality show, and this is like 15 years ago, and it was a I can't remember who they were following, but it was following a bunch of people, and one of these women they were following decided to get breast implants, and she goes, and you're watching the consultation stuff, and then she comes to in the middle of the surgery.
Okay.
And she's completely out of it and scared and doesn't know what's happening. The whole thing lasts like a couple seconds. And she just wakes up, and you see her wake up. It's fucking nuts. And I mean, when you put yourself in that situation, like where you're just like, your brain has like 3 seconds before you pass out again to try to process what's happening. And remember, you came in here and you're coming in, you're having this elective surgery, but she's like, and her eyes wide open, and that was weird.
That's how
That'd be a fun prank though,
or a great interview show where they try and interview you. They just
while you're
they have the anesthesiologist just lighten it up just a little bit, so you wake up and they're like, "Hey, David,
oh god,
you're here having appendicitis surgery. How's it feel?" And then, well, you heard it here, folks. That's how I think you.
Wait, appendicitis surgery? So it's surgery to give you appendicitis?
Yeah, they're implanting.
Why would they do that?
Because it's funny,
well, I see. It's
hilarious, funny. Dude. Because then you're all like, fuck,
Right.
It's hilarious.
The Nazis were onto something, I guess.
Jesus. Oh, Charleston. So.
Yeah, well, okay.
Forgot completely.
Okay.
We forgot completely about. So we do the show in Charleston. Fun show. Afterwards, the hang.
Oh, yes.
So we're hanging with like a smaller group that seemed really chill. Everyone on board, everyone hanging out afterwards seemed really chill. And one of the guys.
Guy had brought his son.
Husband
and wife.
Yeah. And we're like, he's like, hey, I own this bar called the Griffin.
It was great. Great bar.
Great bar.
Kind of pubbish. Kind of pub-like.
Yeah, it's like in like historic old town, whatever that is, Charleston. We go. And we're hanging out. It's great. It's got dollar bills stapled all over the wall.
Yeah, it's called the Chain District.
The Chain District.
Yeah.
Is that what it's really called?
It's where everybody would get chained up. Not everybody, but the people that were owned would get chained. So it's a Chain District.
Different prank show. One that wasn't so funny.
Well, it's humor is in the eye of the beholder.
And the beholder. The beholder of what?
We'll cut that out.
Okay. I get it.
So Charleston, Griffin.
Charleston.
The guy said, I have this bar. And it was a nice bar.
The bar, we go. Which, by the way, if you ever want to pull the most ridiculous heist ever, go to that bar and try and, like, break in and rob the walls. Because they're just dollar bills.
Yeah,
stapled every inch of every wall.
Easily, you'd make, like, $525.
It's $800. I'm saying 800.
800?
I'm saying 800.
I think it looks more like 800, but it's probably 5.
Split that 5 ways, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You're talking about a night on the town. And, but we're sitting at this booth. It is me, David, the owner of the bar, and like his son.
Yeah.
I believe it was. And we're sitting
and his wife. I think they were sitting across from us.
And we're just
their bar.
Awesome. And we're having a good time, drinks, shooting the shit. And this couple from the meet and greet, it's always couples. They are standing like right here, just right on top of me.
And we should explain that pretty much, I'd say most, not 100% of the time, but close to it. There was always at least one person, usually guys, but sometimes women, who were inappropriate, no space relation thing, and had the attitude of, and even said as much sometimes, like, these guys aren't your real fans. I'm your real fan.
Right,
I get you. I get what you're doing. I get,
Yeah.
like I speak to them on a different level, and I got it. But, and I'll let these guys prattle on about their stuff, but then you and I can really talk.
Yeah, you and I go sit over here and really chew the fat.
That happened a lot.
I mean, you said it's mostly men. I think that's a little sexist. I think women can be creeps too.
I said it was that there were women. I'm saying my observation was It
Listen.
was mostly men, but there were definitely. Oh, remember the woman in where was it? Glasgow.
I just can't believe you're saying the creep industry is male dominated. I mean, I think there are a lot of women in there, man. There are a lot of women doing some good creeping in there.
Well, they're trying.
You know, and they're doing good. I think we should acknowledge there's some really great female creeps out there.
Sure, I'm doing.
There were always that. There was always that, and my favorite. Actually, we never talked about this because I could forget about it every time. But in retrospect, I also haven't had booze in like 3 weeks, and memories are just coming out of nowhere. It's kind of wild.
Oh wow!
But there were so many. My favorite, who I would notice and then forget about, but now I'm remembering, were the like superpower level shy people who would come to the show, who would be at the thing at the afterwards at the meet and greets, and who would talk to me, obviously, because I would, they would talk to me. But then the moment you came over, they were just like, hello, okay, bye, and just like they would be conversational, somewhat, interesting, chatty, fun people. And then the moment you rolled in, they were like, hello, bye. It was
remember the woman in Milwaukee, I think it was?
Wait, what happened in Milwaukee?
It was upstairs.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe it was...
It was upstairs. That was
Milwaukee, right?
That was Milwaukee. That was
great
upstairs.
Town, great venue.
All of the
great club.
All of the Wisconsin, Minneapolis shows were great.
Oh, that whole part of the Midwest was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, Minneapolis, though, great show, but still the only show on the whole tour where you had to have someone tossed at the end of the set.
Was that Minneapolis?
That was Minneapolis.
Okay, yeah.
That was that first half. And that was tour manager number 3, Rick, who, all praise to the man Rick, dying to throw someone out. Like that guy was like, ooh, I get to toss. Ooh, I get to toss someone. Ooh.
That is really a last resort. I mean, I try very hard, and so often security will start to remove somebody. I'm like, hang on. They have a right to say this thing, and then we have a conversation. But that guy, that's just I got, that's just
that guy was annoying.
Yeah, but it's 30 years of being in the business, or 40, whatever it is at this point, where you just know, like, I know how this is going to go. No matter what I say, it's going to go this way. So let's just nip this in the bud, get him out of here, and then we continue the bit.
Speaking of which, for probably up until maybe only 4 years ago, nip this in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was nip this in the butt, which meant like spank it so it stops. That was how I always thought that phrase went. It was like, nip it in the butt. Which means like, hey, whatever the situation is, it's being bad. Give it a little pop on
spanking.
Little pop on the rear end. It's gonna stop. And it wasn't until I said it, and someone was like, "Are you saying butt?" I'm like, "What am I? Why? What am I supposed to be saying?" Nip it in the bud.
Yeah, so it doesn't blossom. It doesn't grow.
But I still think nip it in the butt's better. Catch a little spanking.
You do you.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of butts, butting in.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to talk. This couple keeps butting in, and they're only talking to. Well, they think they're only talking to me, but they're drunk, so they're talking at this volume. But they're like, "Hey, can we sit down?" And I was like, "Oh no, no." I forget exactly how I phrased it, but it was good. I remember just being like, "No, I'm good. I'm good here, but there's plenty seating."
Just to reiterate, we had spent an hour with these folks,
maybe more, maybe an hour and
with
change.
these folks.
Yeah,
and
before we went to the bar.
Yeah, before we went
hanging
to the
out
bar.
at the venue. Yeah. Easily an hour.
Yeah, I mean other people as well, but we were there drinking and hanging out after the show for an hour, and then it was like, okay, it's our time. It's Sean and Doug and I are going to go, and this.
Now Doug, the tour manager, this is first tour manager era. Doug, he doesn't drink. None of them drank really, except Graham. That's tour manager too. But Doug did not. He would just place himself somewhere in the bar doing crossword puzzles, looking for cheese to eat, whatever. And now...
But eagle-eyed. He would always...
he was on it.
Yeah, he was on it.
He would... now she's talking to me being like... And I remember she leans in and goes... And again, she thinks she's only talking to me, but she's so fucking loud. She's like, you're kind of taking up all the time with him. You're kind of hogging him. can you just let someone else sit next to David for a minute? And I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here. We're friends, but he's right here if you want to talk to him. And I think at that point you were like, hi. And she said something along the lines of, I just want to say hello. And we came to this bar to hang out with you. And I think you said the exact same thing you just said, where you were like, we did just hang out.
Yeah.
For like an hour or longer.
And now I'm going to hang out with my friends.
Right. And the whole time you're talking, I had to piss really bad.
Right.
So I remember I text Doug like, hey, need you to come sit here for me. We got an issue. And he was just there, like so fast that you'd never guess he was in his 70s, which I think he was. He was 74 years old. And
he's not 74 years old.
No, but he just was there, and we swapped out. And when I came back, they were just, I saw them standing in the corner having that like that drunken couple argument where it's either where you could tell sometimes it's one person's too fucked up and the other person's trying to like calm them down / reprimand them / figure it out like, hey, next steps here. Or sometimes they're both fucked up and just they're clashing. They were having like a commiserating, like, I know this is bullshit.
Well, we
came all the way here to hang out.
The guy barely talked ever. Yeah. And he kept making faces. Like if you're listening to this, it was like the shrug kind of like, what are you going to do?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He kept shrugging and looking at me going, with his, it's hard to describe, but it's the thing that you've seen a million times of like, her, what are you going to do? But never said anything, just faces.
Yeah. It's also just an interesting, like, mental state of like, I don't know. Some of the people, like, for the most part, I would say 80% of the people I met that were your fan base were 85. I'll jump it up 5% here. They were pretty fucking cool. Very chill.
My fans are awesome.
Yeah, very chill, very smart, really, very like interesting, cool. Like to talk to.
I got good, smart, cool fans.
Right, exactly. That one guy wanted me to sleep with his wife in front of him. And what are you gonna do?
But literally sleep. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, not sexual.
No sexual.
Not sexual.
Yeah, no snuggling.
No snuggling.
No touch.
Just did want us to wear matching pajamas, which I was on board with.
Monogrammed.
They're nice. And I did ask for a leg pillow, and he was like, cool.
Yep.
So that was nice. He watched. Some people are into that. You know what I mean?
Do you want to tell that story?
That one's for the Patreon.
That's for who?
The OnlyFans. Do you guys have an OnlyFans account? That one's for the OnlyFans.
Wait, what was the first thing you said? Oh, Patreon.
Yeah. But
would you consider, if you could afford it and if it's cheap enough,
probably can
reenact your? I was going to go ahead and say your Knoxville night, with like claymation.
Oh yeah,
That's something to think about. Maybe get Dino Stamatopoulos, Starburns Industry, involved.
I would 1,000%.
Okay, and you narrate it.
I'll narrate the whole thing. I'll do all the voices. Make a
little Sean Patton puppet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're talking. Did you just say you would co-produce what will be the Oscar winner for Best Animation 2025?
Holy shit! Are you serious?
Let's do it.
Oh my god, I'm getting Oscar fever.
There we go, baby. But there was like 10% of your fans that were just awkward.
Yeah, a little Asperger's.
And then 5% that I was afraid for your health around.
Yeah.
5%. Only 5, but there were a couple where I was like, because there were times where you would talk to someone and you never, I will say this, and I have been around a pretty healthy chunk of successfully / famous people in my days. You are never, I've never seen you near being a dick. Never once.
Thank you. A lot of people think I'm a dick. A lot of people think that.
I think a lot of people think you're a dick because you generally are. But no, I'm kidding. No, you're not. No, you're not. I think a lot of people mistake dick for just like you. I've noticed, I can say this now knowing you, having spent 69 once again, bro, but having spent all this time, you're just someone who you're not like a small talk guy.
That's true. Yeah.
You're not like and you also, whatever, this is actually fun. I'm going to say, we're bringing out the baggage and unpacking it and being like, this is fun stuff. I just was afraid to say it to you while we're in a car together, but not really. But I notice I have this problem. I think a lot of people have this problem. I tend to, in conversation, if I disagree with someone, I'll sort of sugarcoat it a little bit, or I'll sort of just be very polite or nice about it in a way that's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, but it's big family. I've noticed when you disagree, you'll just be like, no, I disagree. And I think some people think of that as dick. Whereas I noticed with you, I'm like, no, he's not being a dick. He's just saying it flat out. You're saying it.
Yeah, we're having a conversation.
Right. I'll give you the first time you did it to me, I was like, oh shit, did I just piss him off? And then I realized, oh no, that's just how David talks. And it was fine. But it was very early on. I believe it was after that first Denver show. We're at some restaurant bar, having food, drinking beers. And I brought up Back to the Future, which you'd never seen. And then because you'd never seen any of the Back to the Futures, I spiraled into all these like 80s, 90s comedy things that you had also never seen.
Right.
I was surprised. I was like, you've never seen all these movies? And you were like, yeah, I just had no interest. And the thing I said was, I believe, so you grew up wanting to write, act, star in movies, but you decided never to see any. And you went, whoa, well, you're just projecting there. And I was just like, oh, fuck. Did I just piss David off 1 week into the tour? And then we kept talking. And then in those like next few exchanges, I was like, oh, he's not mad at all. He's just saying how he feels.
Yeah, no, I wasn't mad.
No. But then I watched you do it to other people. And not do it. It's not that you're doing consciously. It's just like, this is how you talk to people. And I was like, oh, this is why I bet people think he's a dick. Because instead of being like, well, no, I disagree. No, it's totally cool. I see what you're saying. You're just like, no, that's not how that is. I think it's this way. Right. I think some people just get rubbed the wrong way because they're.
Yeah, maybe. You know? I think.
Am I making sense? I feel like I'm.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're saying. I think also because I hear myself sometimes, and in my head I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, to myself. No, to myself, okay, like either who cares or shut up or don't flatter yourself. So I'm talking to myself in my head or whatever. And I'm also, it took me a long time to be able to get comfortable with talking to fans.
Sure.
And not just fans in the abstract, but like people who wanted to talk about a project that I did that really meant a lot. And then I would immediately, so I'm much better at it now. The idea of doing meet and greets after the show, up till like 5 years ago would have been absurd. I used to run when we did the Mr. Show, Hooray for America tour. I would fucking jog out of that theater and get to the bus because I didn't want to talk to anybody. Not because of them. I was just a weirdo and not comfortable, and I just wanted to drink and then go hang with my friends, and I just wasn't good at it for a long time. I wasn't good at accepting compliments, and I think in part people think I'm a dick because of the way I reacted uncomfortably to somebody saying something nice.
Right. But I also,
which is legit.
That's actually, but I also think like over time, I was like, oh no, I was like this, I get this, where you're just like, you're just saying information. You're doing the service of the person you're talking to, being like, I think you're probably intelligent to know I'm not being a dick. I'm just talking.
Yeah, it's I guess I'm assuming that, but it's just the way I have a conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. I saw some situations where if you would have been even a slight dick, I think it would have been justified, just a little bit.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
But you weren't. But you never were. Right. Case in point, one morning at, again, the Denver, a lot of these Denver stories, but this was the second time we were in Denver. The Denver airport, specifically right now, for the past 18
it
months
was all messed
is
up.
a shit show.
Yeah.
There's so much construction, and
the layout is just, and it's just, you have to go so fucking far.
Yes, it is a mess.
Yeah.
And we were in line at security, and some woman came over and was like, I gotta take my chance here. Can I just get a picture with you? And it was like early morning. We're both waiting for our stuff. It's that and it's that jam up of coming through the security where everyone's waiting for their shit, and everyone's sort of trying to like grab it and get out of there.
Right.
Or some people, the doofuses, are just full on getting dressed right there in line.
I hate that.
Oh, it's
get your tray, move it over there.
Move it.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. But it's like we're all like in that moment, and this woman comes over and was like, "Hey, can I please get a picture?" And I if you would have just been like, "Hey, not right now, give me 1 second," I think that would have been justified. I'm not saying being an asshole. I'm not saying being an asshole.
Saying it politely, but saying it.
But you were just like, "Oh, sure," and you just like did a pic with her right there, and I was just like, "Wow!" Even then, you could have been slightly. Yeah. But I actually learned from that. I was like, "Wait a second!" I had like a thought process to myself of like, you got to appreciate these people no matter. You got to appreciate them. They're your fans.
Well, yes, but I don't know. Was she a real fan, or was she just like, I love chicken pot pie, or And
she seemed like our age-ish.
But if they're
I'm older than you, so
if they're a if somebody comes up with kind of the more culty stuff, or like knows something that's really kind of specific,
sure.
Then by all means. But if somebody's like, you were great in the Chipmunks. You stole the Chipmunks. Let me get a picture of you. I don't know your name, but holy shit.
What?
Dude, we've been talking for a long time.
Oh, we just yammering?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's not bad. That's the what we're here for. But so I'm gonna. Is there anything you'd like to promote or plug or promote?
Promote?
Yeah, it's a cross between plug or promote.
Promotion?
Prog.
Yeah. Prug sounds like someone talking about a pug, but just has a weird impediment. Or Paul's,
could be
Paul.
He put
R in his plug. So that guy loves silent letters, man. Too bad he doesn't use them all silently and just not talk. Am I right? Fuck you, Paul. Tell that son of a bitch.
Where is he? Over there?
No, he's back there.
Oh.
But got the special on Peacock. It's called Number One. It's been out for a minute now. I don't know how many people have seen it. That's part of the reason there were strikes. But I love it.
So the WGA and the Screen Actors Guilds went on strike because they hadn't seen your special?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, enough people hadn't seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they went off strike.
Well, I guess maybe more people have seen it. I appreciate the effort.
I don't know what the numbers are, but
that's hundreds of thousands of people not working so that people could watch my work, which I appreciate.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Supporting the industry.
Yeah, and go to my website, mishaandpatton.com. All my dates. I'm constantly touring. There is no like upcoming tour. It's just
that is true. I was always. I mean, it was.
I'm trying to do more designated tour times.
Well, I just meant like when we were on tour and we'd have little breaks.
Yeah.
And I'd come home for 3-4 days, hang out with my family, and I'd see you again. 4 days later at the airport. Hey, what'd you do? Well, I did a set at da-da-da, and then I did a set there, and then I got to go. And then I flew. I did one night in Chicago, and then I flew back here. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You were constantly working.
Yeah. I'm coming back in town for 1 day, and it just so happens to coincide with your Christmas party.
Oh, cool.
And then I leave the next day.
Where are you going?
Back to New Orleans.
Okay.
Holidays, yeah.
Right, of course.
Which that show is, but I don't know when this comes out. But yes, go to my. I'm always touring.
Oh, this isn't coming out
ever. Okay, good.
Yeah,
so I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
So listen, you Soros. Let's talk about him. No, go to my. I have nothing to say about George Soros. I don't give a shit.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Some people think.
No, I saw it was like a funny thing. It was like an attempt to like, it was the fake thing, like, we can talk.
But then some fake things, people are like, oh, what's he got to say? You know?
Yeah, I don't think anybody really thought that. I think they knew that you were doing like mocking the idea of, and you just came up with George Soros and then immediately kind of regretted it. Would have let it slide, but then like, that's not the best reference. I better speak to that, and then that's why you said it, and that's why we're talking now about it. We're still talking about it.
But then references. This is why reference-based comedy is hard for me, because now I'm like, what would have been a better reference? Because to some people, that might have been the perfect reference.
Jack Probiesque,
the right-wing Twitter guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Jack Probasiak.
Matt Rife.
Oh man, what a jawline on that buddy boy, huh? Watch him. You want to see a man drop a mic? You ain't never seen a prettier man drop a mic.
Dude, did you see the special?
I saw the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I did a little. It was.
Yeah.
You know, I was just talking about him with Rob Delaney in London last week, so I don't want to talk about him too much. But that thing at the end was so clearly designed for him to say the thing and then say the. But I only do crowd work, and then drop the mic. But he said it, and then he gets applause. So he had a pause, and you can see like a experienced pro would have figured out a way to kind of bridge the thing, but he has to wait for the applause, or he chooses to wait for the applause. Then he says, "But I only do crowd work," and drops the mic, but it had no punch because he fucked it up. Anyway.
He should have dropped the mic and then started doing crowd work, no mic. Just straight up to prove that he really does crowd work for real.
The credits go, and then they show him doing crowd work.
That really?
Yes, I didn't see that part. I swear to God, it happened. So he does. But I only do crowd work, and then he drops the mic literally, and then the credits start going, and then I don't know, a matter of seconds later, it shows him doing crowd work.
I mean,
at the same show. Like, what is you just negated everything. All right.
It's an interesting time to be a comedian. Also, your special. I'm going to plug David's special there.
Okay.
We filmed it, and I posted a clip from the filming of it. It looks so fucking good. And that's just me. So I bet your end looks a lot better. And I'm farting out of my mouth as Post Malone.
As Post Malone, yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm happy with it, and I thought 800-pound Gorilla did a great job, and they were easy to work with, and it came out. You know, I see it, and it's a little frustrating. They always are, because I tape in the middle of the tour, and the set is always evolving. So there's some bits I'm like, oh man, you know. But we recorded the show in Boise, so some of those bits become richer and fuller.
I forgot about that.
So there'll be audio coming out, which will have, I don't know, 20% of it'll be different.
Also, really quickly, because I mean, believe you me, I could do a breakdown of all 69 shows, but we don't have time for that this episode. But London, we did a place called Union Chapel.
That was great.
And it's this beautiful church, and I'm thinking it's a desanctified or what's it when churches are no longer in use by the Lord?
Denuded?
When the Lord stops, he's like, I'm done with that place, close it down. Defrocked, yeah. I thought it was a defrocked church. But it's beautiful, and we go on stage, and we do, we have similar, David and I are we're both very pro-life comedians. We're all about
I love life.
God's choice, and it's all about the baby, right? Obviously. So, but we're not. We both have similar stances on abortion, and we both talk about it. And I remember afterwards being like, why is there no booze backstage? And they're like, oh, you have to go up to the bar because the bar is not considered part of the church. I was like, what do you mean part of the church? And they're like, yeah, this is still a church. It's a functional church.
Yeah, they have services.
But I was like, what? And we both just got on stage and had opinions.
Yeah, but that's why there's so much dried cum backstage.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe it was it's tartar sauce from all the fish and chips.
Well, that's their euphemistic phrase for it. So it was quote unquote tartar sauce, but that's what that means.
Oh, that's what
All
they
right,
dip it in.
Sean
All right, sorry.
Patton, I end every show
yes.
with a question from my daughter, Marlo, who you've met.
I've met Marlo, gave me a penny.
Yeah.
I still got that dirty penny.
Okay. Well, for her, it was lucky. That was a nice gesture.
That was a very nice
she thought
gesture.
it was a.
She gave me a dirty lucky penny. I still got it,
penny,
and I'm still here.
All right, good.
You know.
All right, this is a question for you, Sean, from Marlo. Where does Christmas come from?
Oh, I knew it. Christmas. Now, does she want to know? She wants to know the origin of Christmas.
Dude, I'm reading you the question. Where does Christmas come from?
Christmas originated, I believe, sometime in the Nordic.
Sometime in the Nordic?
In the Nordic era.
What?
Sometime in the Nordic era. I'm trying to put this in ways where she can understand.
Well, I can't understand.
Well, you're not an 18-year-old girl like your daughter. No. So Christmas started sometime in the Nordic era, which I do believe it was out of guilt. It was some father got sneaking back, got home, didn't have his keys. He'd been out drinking all night, right? With his missus, lost his key, couldn't get in. Windows were all locked, said, shit, climbed onto the roof, said, fuck it, come down the chimney, right? As he got down there, his kids were up. We're like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, but he's covered in soot, right? And he broke his nose falling down the chimney. So there's blood everywhere, blood and soot, right? And the soot, as people think it's black, it's white. It's actually because you burn a certain type of wood. White wood, I believe it's called.
An ash. It's
right, ash.
Fur
so the ash, he was covered in
Nordic
red
pine.
And white. And like, I'm not your dad. I'm here to bring you gifts. He had some gifts. He was also a small-time crook, so he had some, he had scored some, some swag. So he gave his kids these gifts, and we're like, because you're good. You're on my good list.
Okay.
And then he got the fuck out of there because he didn't want his kids to catch him coming home in the middle of the night.
All right. So obviously these houses have locks, so it's modern era. It's relatively new.
Well, Christmas has only been around since the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So
a lot of movies make it seem like it's been around for longer than that.
Yeah,
76,
I was always under the impression. Yeah, that's odd.
But you were young.
I was young. I'm probably just being indoctrinated in liberal.
Right. 76, I believe,
schools.
December. I think it was December.
Yeah.
76 is when Christmas.
December is when we celebrate.
Right. So that's when it would have been.
And but where does Santa Claus come from?
So the guy's name was I think it was Samantha and Klaus were the kids' names, right? And when he saw them drunk, it was Santa Claus. He said it, and they heard that. So they told their mom, this guy, I think he said Santa Claus. And the mother was like, Samantha Klaus, named after her dad, old, German guy.
But not that old because this started in the 70s. So
yeah,
he would have been
76.
Right. So if there were kids, so the dad, I guess, was probably around post World War II.
Yeah.
Like Pete Townsend's age.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but Klaus, still. So he was named. So Klaus, the dad, was named after his father. So he was Klaus the third. So
I see.
A lot of Klauses. So the kid was Klaus the fourth. So that name was just going to stick. In fact, this is sad, but I don't want to say anything. I'll just say it for the context.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't want to say anything, then what's the point of bringing it up?
So, if they would have had a third kid and it would have been a boy, it would have been Klaus the fifth.
Two Klauses, Klaus the fourth and Klaus the fifth.
No. They already had one. The kid was Klaus the fourth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
His grandfather was Klaus the third.
Right.
There were two more Klauses before that. Long family name.
The dad wasn't Klaus.
That was the dad.
They skipped one.
The dad was not Klaus. The Klaus was the son's name.
Why didn't they just call him Klaus Jr. and then Klaus Jr. Jr.?
No, because
Klaus Jr.
the grandfather
the
was a Klaus.
Right.
And they named the kid Klaus after the grandfather, but not the dad, because it was the mom's side.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was the 70s. What are you going to do?
Right.
So the kid would have been Klaus. That kid was Klaus the fourth. If they would have had another son, it would have been Klaus the fifth, but they couldn't get pregnant the third time. They just had the two. Samantha and Klaus.
How do you know all this?
It's right there. Anyone can look this up. I understand Marlo probably doesn't have access to.
No, we don't let her.
Yeah, so you could look it up right there on Google or on Bing. I Bing. It's a good
Bing?
search engine.
I'm a big go duck daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Look it up. Go to the library and see. So Santa Claus. Say Samantha Claus.
All right, Marlo, there's your answer.
There you go. It was guilt. Guilt is what started it all. Yeah.
Guilt.
But look at that. The tradition still stands, huh?
Yeah. We're still, I don't know where the tree, how the tree happened, and why we sing Away in the Manger and all that stuff. Christ was born. And...
dude, look, so the Bible, what? The Bible was only written, 6,000 years ago?
It depends on which Bible. You're talking about the Old Testament or the New Testament?
I thought so. The New Testament was only in the 40s then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it predates the Book of Dianetics by about 10 years.
That's it.
Yeah.
So L. Ron Hubbard knew Jesus personally.
It was Jesus.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
And he got out of that.
Yeah.
Because I always thought Jesus was like the Dread Pirate Roberts thing. Like you just passed it on to the next. Savior.
Sean. I have shit to do.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Okay, let's just. I thought we were hamming it up, but I get it.
No, we were, and but I mean,
we can keep on going.
We're going on. We're gonna
2.5 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna. Nicole, are you editing this? You're doing video, right?
As we speak.
Okay, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you always.
Absolutely,
we did it.
That was a Headgum podcast.